What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is not only day 2 of the 7th annual 10 Days of Pumpkin, it is also Wednesday, which of course means it's time for another West New York Wednesday here on the channel. And the beer I'm reviewing today, once again, comes from the Ellicottville Brewing Company, and they are headquartered in Ellicottville, New York, and this is their Iron Smoke Barrel Aged Stout, and this is the 2024 release. So this is a stout, and underneath that it says whiskey barrel aged with coffee and pumpkin. It comes in at 6.5% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review. This can is just under 3.5 months old. So when I was looking for beers to review for West New York Wednesday during the 10 Days of Pumpkin, because there are going to be 2 of them, I wanted to grab one from Ellicottville because I've only reviewed one of their pumpkin beers, and that was the Pumpkinville Latte, a nitro. I think I reviewed that one back maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. Pretty damn good. I've had the regular Pumpkinville, which is just a normal pumpkin ale. Their Pumpkinville Latte, which is the non-nitroed version, just a coffee pumpkin ale, really good. They also do a barrel-aged version of Pumpkinville Latte. Never had it. That's what I thought I was buying when I bought this. But me being an idiot, I didn't see the big word stout there. So this is actually, I think, a new release from them. So what this beer is this is a stout that is aged in Iron Smoke Distillery whiskey barrels for 6+ months, and then conditioned on coffee and pumpkin. I believe also I think they say autumn spices, so pumpkin pie spices, I would assume. And yeah, so Iron Smoke Distillery, they're out of Fairport in New York. I've had some other beers from other breweries that use their barrels. So I'm really curious about this one. The one negative about this going into the review, and I always try to keep it in mind, it's a 6.5% stout that was aged for 6+ months in barrels. We'll see how intense the barrels are. I'm hoping they're not that intense. We will see, I guess. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. I hope it's tasty, as I do all of beers that I review on the channel. We're using the Southern Tier pumpkin glass. The pumpkin glass, I should say, because Ellicottville is also in the Southern Tier, just like Southern Tier, the Southern Tier of the West New York area, I should say. Anyway, let's give it a pour here. Try to generate a decent head if I can here. Do something like that. Throw this over here. And that looks beautiful in the pumpkin glass. Give you a better look here. Now, this is more of a dark brown. Yeah, like it's a cola color, a cola root beer. It looks very akin, a bit lighter than recently, right before the 10 Days Pumpkin, I reviewed Amagang's, their All Hallows Treat, and that looked kind of similar to this one, a bit darker, but this is, I think 1.1% ABV lower. But this, yeah, this looks more like a brown porter or something. Has a finger, half a finger now of this straight up tan colored head. Looked pretty creamy and somewhat luscious in the glass when I poured it, not so much now. But yeah, it kind of looks like a stout. It's going to probably look darker for you on camera, but for me, has more of that like cola root beer kind of vibe. Let's get a nose. Oh, what is that? It smells like a it smells like someone took a pumpkin spice latte, right, and put like some bourbon or whiskey, like a shot of bourbon or whiskey in it. That's what it smells like. Big coffee, like the coffee is very reminiscent of their Pumpkinville Latte. It almost has a pumpkin kind of aroma, because I'm getting a little bit of like graham cracker. It's graham cracker for sure. The spices are here: cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice. Yeah, but that coffee is so big. The bourbon's here too, and it's like, it has like a peppery vibe to it. I say that a lot about bourbon and whiskey, like it has a peppery kind of vibe to it. But it does, and it's kind of enhancing the aromatics as far as the spices are concerned. But it also is giving me big kind of like caramelized sugar notes and vanilla. So it's like, it's lending itself very well. I even never thought about that, but like a spirit barrel, especially a whiskey or a bourbon, or even a rye, would add a lot of character to a pumpkin beer, because you get, like I said, I get a lot of times like peppery bourbon, you get caramelized sugars and whatnot, and then the barrel produces that like oaky vanilla. I think that accentuates what a base pumpkin beer can be, whether it's a stout or just a regular ale or whatever. I wanted to take a sip. Yeah, this smells kind of weird. It's like someone took a pumpkin pie and drizzled chocolate on top of it, or like a bourbon glaze. That's kind of what I'm getting, because there is like a nice roasty, toasty kind of malt quality. Definitely some more of like a 40-50% dark chocolate bar kind of vibe. Man, it smells really nice. Oh, to be honest with you, it smells way better than I anticipated. At only 6.5%, I was thinking it was being a little bit weak. This is very, like the nose of this, if you told me it was 8 or 9%, I'd be like, yeah, that's what it kind of smells like. It smells fucking delicious. This might be the best aroma I've ever had from an Ellicottville beer. I don't know. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Oh, that's real nice. Wow. I just got something I don't know if I've ever gotten in a pumpkin beer before. Let me go back in. This is really nice. Holy shit. Toasted coconut. I know that that does not make sense as far as a pumpkin beer goes. It makes sense as far as the barrels go. First things first. Body on this one at 6.5%. Medium body, it's fine. I'm not expecting a huge, viscous, thick monster at 6.5%. That was in barrels for 6+ months, probably thinned it out. Might even be a little bit under medium body. So it might be a touch thin, but I kind of anticipate it. 6.5% in barrels for that long. It's going to thin it out a little bit. The mouthfeel has a nice moderate carbonation, but it has a smooth, somewhat creamy sensation as well. I think the mouthfeel is better than the body, but neither of them are spectacular. Still solid. The taste, that's where this beer kind of wins me over, is the taste, which is a good thing. Forefront, lots of roasted malt, and it almost, it's like a deeply roasted malt. It's not charred, but it's like super roasted. Almost a slight smoke kind of character to it. As it passes through the palate, lots of things going on. At first, I'm hit with this nice, like, I would say medium roasted coffee. There's almost a nuttiness in here too. Like not like a peanut butter, but just like a generic nuttiness, like an almond or a walnut or something. Just nuttiness of some sort. But then there's chocolate. There's graham cracker. There's a lot of like pumpkin pie-esque vibes to this one. Graham cracker, yes. The spices, we'll talk about them momentarily, but they're here. The pumpkin, I think, is not really doing much in terms of the taste, because I really can't taste the pumpkin at all. Usually it's just like a generic earthiness if I do. It really didn't do much to the body, maybe helped out on the mouthfeel a bit. But the first front of the palate is coffee, it's roasted malt, it's chocolate. But the middle of the palate to the finish is where this beer completely wins me over. I get the bourbon. It's toasted coconut, and I sometimes get that in barrel-aged beers. The barrels themselves produce toasted coconut. Going back to the first time I ever had Parabola from Firestone Walker, or like early iterations of Bourbon County Stout from Goose Island, toasted coconut. I love that note, and I'm getting that here, and it's fantastic. It's kind of out of place for a pumpkin beer, but I love coconut, so I don't give a shit in the least. So yeah, the spices I'm getting though, big blast of cinnamon. It's definitely cinnamon heavy. Almost Fireball-esque, but doesn't get to that level. Samuel Adams' Jacko is the one that I always think of when people talk about like cinnamon in pumpkin beers. That was like someone put like a Fireball or like a shot of Fireball whiskey into my pumpkin ale. It was just so crazily cinnamon forward that it was kind of, it lost me. This does not get to that level. It starts approaching it, but kind of dives out, and then I get like nutmeg for sure. Cinnamon and nutmeg are the two predominant spices I'm getting, even if they're not in here. It's just my mind's playing trick on me. But that barrel, in addition to the toasted coconut, it's adding some vanilla, a little bit of oak, a little bit of that peppery bourbon. The second half of the palate is full on pumpkin pie, and the way I describe it is pumpkin pie with a graham cracker crust. You put a slight dollop of whipped cream on it, and then drizzle it with like a dark chocolate or like a bourbon glazed. If there was like you did two glazes, a dark chocolate, like even more so, more complex and deeper and richer than like a Hershey's special dark chocolate. It's more of like or even like a slight fudgy thing, and then like a bourbon glaze on top of it, and you just gave it to me. That's exactly what it is in beer form. It's really nice. 6.5%. It drinks bigger than it tastes because of the complexity of flavor. So if you want something in a small package that delivers an 8, 9, 10% kind of flavor profile, this would be the beer for you. This might be, I'm not going to sit here and say this is the best Ellicottville beer I've ever had, but it's got to be in the running. I picked this up on a whim. Like I said, the last two beers I picked up were the Western New York Wednesday beers for the 10 Days of Pumpkin. I picked up this and the Mortalis on the same day. And again, I went into this, I didn't really I just saw it was Ellicottville and it was Iron Smoke Distillery. I'm like, all right, this is the Pumpkinville Latte Barrel Aged, and it's not. It's a stout. They need to bring this back every year going forward. This is superior to any of the pumpkin beers I've had from them. It brings everything to the table that the Pumpkinville Latte has, but in darker beer form, and that's this guy's jam. So if you like darker beers, pick this one up. I just wish it was a little bit bigger ABV because I think a more viscous body and like better mouthfeel would really set this one over the top for me. As is, I'm completely flabbergasted. This is as good as it is. And the only reason I think that is because I can count probably on one hand a sub 7% barrel-aged stout or porter really winning me over, because more often than not, that base beer just cannot hang and keep up with the barrel. It just can't, especially if it's in the barrel for 6+ months. It's just like, no, this one did. And I don't know, like this is pretty fucking good. So not much more to say about it. It finishes semi-dry with a mild bitterness. It does lean a little bit sweet. Everything I'm talking about is sweeter, but it's not cloying. It's not over the top. It just has a sweet kind of vibe to it. I'd say 60-40 or 65-35 sweetness to like dryness and bitterness. But I'm going to have no problems putting back the rest of that glass. Would I be able to drink multiples of these? No. But I never really want to session pumpkin ales. It's like one of the few styles where I'm like one and done because it's kind of like a dessert. This is a dessert, but not cloying, not over the top, just really fucking good. Kudos to Ellicottville on this. Like I'm fucking super surprised, but in the best way possible. So, and the name, the only reason I call it the Iron Smoke Barrel Aged Stout is because that's what they call it on Instagram. Their website, I didn't even see this listed. They still have the Barrel Aged Pumpkinville Latte on there. On Untapped, they just put Stout Whiskey Barrel Aged with Coffee and Pumpkin, which not like the actual name of it. It's just kind of description of what the beer is stylistically. So we're just going to go with Iron Smoke Barrel Aged Stout. I'm going to give this, which is the 2022 or 2024 release, I'm going to give this a, I'm going to go high 4.25 and go 4.3. This is fucking delicious. If you are in the Western New York area and you want a pumpkin beer that is a bit different and has the intensity and flavor profile of an imperial beer where it's 6.5%, seek this one out. This is my favorite Ellicottville beer to date as far as pumpkin beers go. Like this is the best of the bunch that I've had. This is fucking great. This is great. This would get into the low 4.5 range, like a 4.4, 4.45, if the body was a little bit better. I think it would definitely pump it up like 0.1 for sure. But seek this one out if you're in the area. Price point availability. I'm pretty sure I paid just over $4 for this, and I think 4 packs were like $15.99. That's fine. Like, you know, it's $4. All the stuff going on is fine. Availability to Ellicottville. I know they get distro. I want to say it's into like Ohio. They might even see Michigan, Pennsylvania. I think they're in like 8 to 10 different states. I don't know. Go to their website. They might have a beer finder. If not, if you see Ellicottville stuff, you might see this one. I don't know. Like I was not even aware this was released. Again, I went into this thinking it was the Barrel Aged Pumpkinville Latte, which was just their, you know, base pumpkin ale with coffee, but aged in barrels. And it's totally not. This is the superior beer. And I haven't had that one, but I'd imagine this is better than that. But I don't know. Maybe I have to try that at some point. Anyway, it's a little bit of a longer 10 days of pumpkin review. No, it's not. All of the beer reviews on the 10 days of pumpkin are going to be long because I like to talk. Got to do the intro. Got the little pumpkin over here finally. Oh, so festive. But anyway, if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about it. Like I said, 6.5%, you can't tell. And yeah, that does it for day 2 of the 10 days of pumpkin. Yeah, tomorrow I think I'm reviewing Ichabod from New Holland, so that'll be fun. Never had that before. And next Wednesday, I'll be reviewing Mortalis's Venus Pumpkin Loaf. Been waiting to try that for a couple years now. Can't wait to get in that one. We'll see if it's better than this one. I don't know. To the next one. Cheers.